Hey everyone, welcome back to the shop. All the parts that were ordered are in. So let me do a quick little walkthrough of what I've got and how we're going to start. And I still have a couple options as we go along, because there's a couple little things that I'll show you are kind of going to be in question, but it's not something that I've got to change structure any more than I'm going to change structure. It's just got to do with where I'm going to locate things. So let's go ahead and show you what I got. You've already seen the motor and the speed controller. Now the difference is the speed controller, because if you looked at the and I'll show you when I'm building it, when you look at the picture from the top on down, the speed controller and the battery pack, let me just rotate you over real quick. Oh, you can see it. The speed controller and the battery pack over here aren't going to fit. It's going to be too tight, and it's just because of the width. And I can make this work with these two, with the battery, because the battery is just a little bit thinner, probably, I don't know, not quite a quarter inch, maybe 3/16 of an inch thinner, but I can make that work right next to the battery. So that's probably what's going to happen. And somewhere up in here there will be a power switch, a small little power switch for the radio. So that way when I take this lid off here, and before it gets latched down, I'll turn the power on, and then I'll put the canopy assembly back down on top and latch it in. So then it'll be ready to fly. Alright, so we've got the motor. I did get it's a carbon fiber spinner, and it's the 2 1/4 inch, and I got to see how this is going to fit on the motor, because it's going to need a little bit of a standoff, and I think I still have some standoffs. If not, I needed bushing. You know, I got friends that do machine work, so I can just have a small little bushing made. I'm just going to make a phone call. So but yeah, I was kind of surprised that this did not come with a bushing. So I'll see if I've got something here, and I think I do, that will fit inside there and work fine as a spacer. If not, I'll get one. I've got time. So anyway, so the motor will go there. The old spinner will sit right up on top of that. And then what's going to go down in here, because if I put the battery pack up top, the speed controller will sit down here in the bottom, which is not a big deal, because then what I'm going to do is down in here, this is where the slit will be. The slit will come up this way, and it'll be kind of a steep little slit just to get up inside where the motor is going to be sitting. So the motor is going to be sitting up here. I want something to angle air up in to where the motor sits, and then it's going to be vented on the back. Now what will come down here is there will be another little slot that'll be a little bit farther down, and that will come up at a shallower angle, such as that, and then that's going to put more air up around the battery and on the speed controller. And on the way back, and I did not bring this up, but at the tail end of the airplane, and I'm hoping you're going to be able to see this, but back here, I don't know if you can, where the fuselage comes back together again, there's going to be a little cutout in the bottom here. It'll be a little teeny triangular piece cut out, and I'll probably put a little bump right in front of it, just to create turbulence, so it wants to pull air out of that. So that's where it's going to be vented, out of the tail on the bottom. So that will be fine. Alright, we've already gone across this. Here's the little baby tail wheel, and this was the tail wheel that came with my de Havilland DH71 kit. It never got used because I made a little wooden, it's almost like a little hockey puck sticking out of the back of the plane, because that's what that plane had in real life. But this one will get a wheel, and this will sit nicely right back here. There is a little tail wheel bracket that I can buy, or I can make one myself. They're not that difficult to make, so I'll probably just go ahead and make one myself, steerable one, just so that everything should be fine, and it's going to work nicely, and it'll keep the weight down too if I make my own. So that will go back there. This is the little ring for the backing plate on the, well, let's just call it, for up at the front, for where the spinner's got a, it doesn't attach to it, but it's got to come up to it, and it's the same size. It's pretty much the 2 1/4 inch, so we're good on this. So that's done. Now the last thing I want to come over, well, actually two things. Here's the landing gear, the electric gear from Hobby King, and I don't want to take it apart to show you, but if you take these two little grub screws out of here, this whole assembly just slides right out. So I do have the wire, so I will be bending my landing gear wire out of the same size this, which I think is 5/32, which is just a click over 4 millimeters. So I already tested it. It's got enough play where it'll fit down in there. So so that the landing gear wires will be bent from here, and I may try to angle, because it's already going to be slightly angled. I may try to increase the angle just a little bit more, and if I can, bring the wheels out maybe another 1/8 inch, get them closer to the edge. But when it retracts, it's going to retract backwards as well as in. So I'll see what I can do. That's what I had to do with my Warbirds, to make sure that you got the wheel far enough forward, just so that it's easier to land on grass, because the AT6s don't like landing on grass. In real life, it's a squirrely plane once you land it, once it touches down. They have a tendency to ground loop. So, and I flew the AT6 a couple days ago, and takeoff was great, landing was really good. The taxiing back, it tipped the nose down, so the grass is just a little bit on the long side. So, but nothing broke on it. So anyway, so here we are. So that's gonna sit in like this. The electric retracts will sit in about like yay, and I will show you when it comes time to build the wings everything I'm going to do to reinforce where this goes, but keep as much weight out as possible. Now for the last thing, the servos for the front and the rear, I should say, for the elevator and the servo. I'm just going to use some HS45 425 BB ball bearings, because I've got these things. I stock these. It's for my little electric planes. I like using them because I don't need digital. I just need a good, solid, inexpensive. And High-Tech's never had one of these fail yet. So for the wings, for the ailerons, I got an option. I can go with 2 of the 425 ball bearings in the wings. Everything will fit. You're looking about 52 ounce-inches of torque out of these things is 6 volts, because that's what I'm running off of. We're going to be running 6 volts on it. So we're looking at 52. Or it's what I did in the decathlon, or not decathlon, but my de Havilland Beaver. I took the 422s out of question and I put in HS81s. It's a micro, but you're going from 52 down to 42, so you're losing 10 ounce-inches. But this is the servo. The aileron is 12 inches by like 1 7/8 inches. It's not that big, and it's actually a smaller aileron than I've got on my de Havilland. And the de Havilland's using one of these on each side, and I've got tons of throw, and I don't think I'm going to have a problem with these. So I may put those in. If I put them in and I'm not happy with it, it'll be very easy for me to just go ahead and change over to these. It's just that this weighs about 3.5 ounces. Let me think about this one. 3.2 ounces for 2 of those. This is 1.8 ounces for 2 of these. So I'm saving pretty much, it's about 1.5 ounces. So it's what I'm taking out of the wing is probably almost equal to in weight of what I'm putting into the wing with this. I'm hoping it's going to be close, but I want to try to keep the weight down. So I'm going to initially set it up for HS81s. If it's not giving me what I want, I'll make sure that the panels where the servos mount up into on the bottom of the wing, it'll be an, easy enough changeover from the HS81s up to the 425s. Now let me really quickly show you the size differential between the two. This is a 425. This is an HS81, and you're going from 52 ounce-inches per square, or per square foot, 52 ounce-inches of torque to 42 ounces of torque. So I think we're going to be pretty good with what we're trying to work with. The elevators, I'm lifting with one, both elevator sides, I'm lifting with one servo, and they're each half is bigger than this, and I'm doing that with one of these. So if I can do something twice the size with one of these, there's no reason I can't do one of these with that. So I think I'll be fine there. So that's kind of my plan on that. So that is about it for now. I will get the shop all reset back up. This will be coming off It'll just be brought back out just if I want something with really good clean reference. I do have the other set of plans right here. You know, they're yellow, and I'm hoping you can see them, but I can see everything just fine. And I will be, as much as I hate to say it, I will be cutting these up to get the right size that I want. And I think I'm gonna have enough room to work on this plane on this size. I will be taking these little extension boards out, and we'll just be going down to what I normally build on, because it's gonna pretty much add on about a foot of extra width inside the shop. Hey everyone, welcome back to the shop. It's been a long busy day for me. I've spent probably about half the day down here just going over the plans again. There was a couple little changes they made in the addendum. It came with a little addendum attached to the front of it, and when I finally got a good understanding of what they were giving you, it's something I'm not going to be doing anyway. So, but I had to go and really study the plans to figure out what the heck they were talking about. So anyway, with that pushed off to the side, to put together a plane off of plans, even with or without manuals, because a lot of the older manuals didn't really help you out like you think they're going to help you out. It still leaves too many open questions. So the best thing to do is really sit down and look at the plans and try to figure out, if you're reading the instructions, read the instructions while you're looking at the plans, just to see if you can find out what they're talking about. Now, myself, I've got a pretty good idea of what they're doing in the plans just by looking at them, because what they'll do is they'll give you certain little sections, little cross sections, like down here, section AA. They're showing you not only what it looks like on the inside, but the shape that it's going to be on the outside. And this is how this progresses up towards the nose. Where if you look at, let's just go ahead and look at it this way. If we come over here and look at the landing gear former, which is F1, which will not be in my plane, but it's still going to be something I need to take a look at to see about how everything is going to connect around this piece. And the same thing with F2. They're showing you the finished side, and then they're showing you the unfinished side before you start sanding, just so that you know kind of how the radius is going to look at that point. Now, when you're building a plane like this and you've got a lot of balsa, you're going to be removing mostly just through sanding blocks. I'll use my little block plane for as much as I can before I start sanding it. But no two planes are going to be exactly alike. They're going to be close, and that's all you want. I mean, the plane itself, the way it's set up, is going to fly, and it should fly great. It's just to be how it looks on the outside. So what I did today was little teeny pieces that I had to make changes to. This one, former number 2, it was just a piece of light ply put down with the holes in the bottom, and they just wanted you to cut out this little square section here. The problem being is that if I cut just that out, my battery was going to have to slide through here. So I ended up taking the battery, making sure that there was going to be enough play in between so that we can slide it through, but then yet at the same time make sure that I had enough removed on the bottom for right down in here where it's going to attach to the wing, because I may have to slide the battery pack through this little gap down into here. And that I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to have to do. So as I'm building it, there may be access to it from the little tray that the battery is going to be sitting on. That decision will be made as I'm putting everything together, and before I start cutting, before I start gluing together the balsa on the top of it, because they want to have access hatchways to get to, and I'll explain everything real quick, just to make this part quick and easy, because tomorrow morning we're going to start gluing some stuff together. So anyway, so this was the change I had to make to the second former, F2. Former number 5 in the back behind the trailing edge of the wing. It's the same thing. I just made the hole a little bit bigger for 2 reasons, because I'm going to have my control rods going through here, plus I need to have airflow going all the way back to the tail back here where I'm going to be putting my little opening. So I just wanted to make sure that we had enough airflow going through. So this will be fine when it gets put together. Now, the fuselage, the size of the fuselage. This was the fun part of the day, because I did find a couple little problems, and you'll see real quick. This is what I do when I put together, before I start building planes. I start matching the fuselage piece, the sides, up to it, and then marking off where the formers are going to be coming through, all the way to the back. Even the little F7 former sits up on the top. The 6, 7, 8 that sit on the top of this, I still make marks so that it's up here at the top, that you'll see it and you know exactly where it gets glued into place. So what this had to do is, and I'm going to show you, it's to be where I'm going to put the motor mount. Now I marked motor mount on here. This piece here is the F, right here is F1. This will not get put in, but I need to use F1, even though it won't be glued in place. It's gonna have to be in its place before I make the motor mount, because of the curvature. Now I'm gonna try to give you guys the best idea, the best show I can on how this is gonna work. This is blank. Nothing's been cut out. It's just the blank F1. Let me make sure we got it the right way. Okay, so it's going this way. So what I do is I'm putting this in line with where F1 is going to go, and I'll get these things lined up the best I can, because I'll tell you how I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'll bring you back from time to time tomorrow when I'm putting this stuff together, or maybe we'll just make a little speedy up video for everybody. All right, so that's in place. So the F1 is in place. Now what's going to go up, excuse me, yeah, so now what's going to go up front, it's a little balsa spinner ring former. It doesn't have a number, it's just got a name. This will go up front, and then these pieces will come in. Now once these pieces come in, let me get it lined up. Then from this point, let's see if I can hold it, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take former number 2. So I'll take the second former, and these will be clamped in place. This will come into position as well. So then it's going to have the curve. And then if you're going to be able to see this, I'm hoping. Now I've got the measurements I need to make this motor mount. So everything will be clamped together. Won't be glued yet. But this will give me the ability to go ahead and get that piece all cut and ready to go. And then as soon as that piece is cut and ready to go, we're gluing. So once we get things ready to roll tomorrow, I'll probably just do that. I'll just do a quick little speedy up video just so everybody can see what's going to happen. So then we'll be ready to go. So next time I'm back down here in the shop, we're going to go ahead and we are going to start gluing stuff together. It should go, the basic part of this should go pretty quick. I should have this piece all glued together in maybe 20-30 minutes. And then from there, then it's just going to be a matter of, I'll show you what we're going to have to do from that standpoint, because we've got F3 and F4, which are other formers, and I've got to change the position of F3 because that's how the whole canopy assembly, the front, from the front of the fuselage to the back, that's how that's going to attach down. I can't have it be perfectly 90 degrees vertical because as the canopy needs to sweep in, it can't do it. So that's going to have to be at the angle that it needs to be at, and it's probably going to have to be, I'll get a piece of wood, or I'll make a big compass, just so that we know the angle that that's going to have to be at, so when it's sitting, it's going to be sitting down proper in the bottom. So that, and I've got marks already made up. I haven't got the measurements, but I just did it just for an idea. But there'll be F3, excuse me, and then there'll be F4, and F4 is 90 degrees vertical to the fuselage, so I'm going to have a little wedge that comes off the face of that. So that'll be just me getting some balsa, just make a filler and go ahead and, you know, get it ready to go, and that we should be good on that. So anyway, all right, time to go. See you guys next time I'm back down here in the shop.